add those links. So if we go back to here, we have tweets here. Let's add following. And let's make that URL /following. So /example / and then following. And then we'll have /example and then /followers. Make sense? For URLs? Does that make sense? So that's following, and then we'll make a followers. Okay, so now I'll have two additional links, tweets, following, followers. If I click following, this is broken because I haven't implemented it yet. But, so I've done the page here. Don't need to do any JavaScript because these are just links, so I just need to set up routes. So in here, I need to set up routes for that. And the issue is that you don't see in here the handle profile, and that's because it's handled by the index and then handed off to the profile. So we see that right here. Right? If it's not /, then it goes to the profile. So let me go to that, and we can add code in here to do the, okay. So I got the profile. Okay, so here's where it's doing the get the username. And the issue with this is that it's splitting two, and so it only has two things in it, and that means that the username ends up having the / in it. So the username ends up being example /following. So that's not good. We want the username to be example, and then to have a page of follow, right? So I think all we have to do here is change this to a 3. And so now it'll have 3 pieces, this empty string, example, and following. Before it was empty string and example /following. But now we'll have the 3 pieces. So the username is still the second piece, right? The @1 here. This guy.
That's kind of interesting. So to get the number 3 says how many pieces you want, not how many times you want to parse on the /.
And those two things are the same thing. Right.
But you're splitting on the / twice. You're splitting on 2 slashes.
Oh, yes.
Pieces.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't say split on 2 slashes and make that a 2. You'd say give me 3 pieces. And
Yeah.
it splits on 2 slashes.
That's right. Okay, so that'll give us the username. So I'm going to take this and call it, or parts, whatever you're going to call that.
I like that.
And then we'll say, get the page name. So we can't do @2 because it's not always there. So we'll say, okay. That makes sense? Because if you just go to /example, there won't be a third one. So we have to check that. Okay, so now I have my page name. All right, and we're going to do different things based on the page. So probably either way we'll need their profile. But for the other ones, instead of getting tweets, we'll get the list of followers or the list of followers. So we'll do a switch case, and we'll switch the page name. And then if it's the empty string, that's get tweets. And so we'll copy this and put that in there. And then if it's following, we'll do one thing. And if it's followers, we'll do another. And then if it's anything else, we'll just do not found. Does that make sense? So we'll do the old thing when it's empty, the thing we were doing before. The page name, this means you just went to /example. But if it's not that, then we'll either do following followers, or if it's something else, you get /example / whatever, then we'll go to not found. Okay. So the important thing here is that usernames cannot contain a / in them, but they shouldn't contain a / in them anyway, because that's weird. Okay. So just don't allow usernames to contain a / and we won't have an issue. And normally the restriction, I think, on Twitter is it can only be letters, maybe you can use an underscore or a dash and the numbers. You can't have weird symbols in your dictionary. Okay, so to implement following, so this is the, I click following, then I see the users that this profile is following. So that's easy, right? How do I do that? Yeah, I just say get profile. Well, I already have the profile, so I just say profile dot following, and that's the list of following. And so what I'm going to do is make a new template. And if we looked at this example, we'd see how I have that set up. The issue here is I have this user profile, and it's sort of doing multiple things, right? And so, you know, we could have following in as a separate template that has this reproduced. We could sort of save this and reuse it. Sort of a lot of ways we could do this. What I'm going to do is create a profile header. And that's going to contain this code. And then I'm going to call this user profile tweets. So this just contains and then this way I can just copy this and make a following, user profile following, and then I can just change this bit, right? I'll say range dot following. I guess it would just be dot, and we'll just print it out. Okay. So this way I can have. So there'll be 4 templates in here, 3 for the pages, and a 4th one that I use between all of them for the header. Does that make sense? And that way I can reuse my code. And so here I can just say, for my model, it's like this one up here, except it has slightly different fields. So I get rid of tweets, and I have instead following string. And then in here I put profile. It turns out they're going to need the same for these bits, and so maybe I can improve this by pulling that out too, but for now we'll just do this. So now we have a model, and we rename this to dash following, and we have dash tweets up here. And so this should render when I go to slash following, it should render this template instead, which is defined here.
I think you changed the range.
Yeah. Let's see if that works. So example is following himself, which is kind of weird. Now if I unfollow, oh, I didn't implement unfollow. But that makes sense, right? Because when I clicked follow, I followed myself, and so that was a. So let's load this with another user. Log in as, let's call this someone. And their username will be someone. Okay, so now I'm at someone's page. I go to slash example. So now I'm looking at examples page. I click follow, and then if I go back to someone, slash following, I see example. Because I'm following example, right? That make sense? So if I click follow, what happens? the following example answer. You know, and I should, you know, make this look better. At least I should put a line break between them, but you can make it look better. I'm just showing how to structure it. And so we just need to implement one more, which is the followers, right? So like user profile and followers, and then followers, followers. So I just copied the other one, except now I renamed everything to followers instead of following. And then in here, we just copy the same code. Whoops. Except now, this isn't quite so simple to get. So we have to fill that in. How are we going to get the followers?
Can you see if somebody's following you and then that's your follower?
So we need to get the followers for the current user. Yep, okay. And then,
So instead of like cycling through all their profiles, we can see if you're.
yeah, we need to write this guy, and I'll show you how to do that. But that's what we'll put in here, is the followers, okay? So this bit of code should be finished. We just have to write this function. Okay. So let's go write that, because it's not as easy as the other one. So
It reminded me of this Saturday Night Live episode I saw where they had Stephen King, and they did an interview with him. And during the interview, the entire time he's typing, they're like, "What are you doing while you're talking with us? I'm still writing a novel." You know, the entire interview, and then he stops, and they're like, "What happened?" "Oh, writer's block." And he starts typing again. It's like 5-second writer block. You type very fast. It's awesome.
So we need to get the followers, and we can write a query to do that. So data store new query. The kind will be profile. So we're going to search for profiles that have following equal the username. So this is other people who have in their following list this user.
That works.
Yeah. Question?
So how real, I mean, for our example where we have a user, like employee see, okay, it's fine. How realistic would this be, like production level? You have, you know, 800,000 or 80 million users, and you're going to go look through 80 million user accounts.
Yeah, that won't work.
That won't work.
No.
Is that indexable?
Yes, this is
Does it
indexed.
do a table scan?
It should index this.
How would you do it for the 80 million users? Just
We'll talk about that.
show.
Would it just, every time somebody followed you, it would tag your account for like one person and put their name there?
We'll talk about it. Order by. It's not trivial.
It's not trivial.
There's a reason why Twitter has thousands of engineers. They do actually something. There's not an easy way to solve this problem. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so we need to run the query, and that gives you back an iterator, and then .next. So we'll have our profile, and this is where the projection might be handy, because when I get a profile, it gives me their following list. I don't actually need that. I just need their username. But anyway, we can just do it this way. So I think next returns the key and an error. I don't care about the key. Data store not done. Break. Else if error not nil. Return that. Okay, so now we have a profile, and we need to be building a list of strings. So we'll say followers is an array of string, slice of string, and we'll say append So this profile is a profile of somebody who's following this person. So I just append their username to the list, and then I return the list. Okay, so, right, I need to pass the context to this. And that should give me all the followers, so let's see if that works. Did I mistype something? Yeah. So the followers for someone is someone because he's following himself. So that's kind of a weird thing. If you follow yourself, you're in both lists. That makes sense, I guess. Okay, so let's look at example. Example is following himself, but he has someone following him. Okay. Make sense? So yeah, we did a query for all the profiles to find the ones that are following this person using this, okay? So that means we've added links for followers and following, right? So now I have these links and I can see who's following whom. So let's commit that. I don't know why it keeps crashing like that.
Because it's Python.
So added followers.
It's not Go. Can't keep up with you, Caleb. You're faster than Python.
When is it crashing?
It crashes when you kill it. Maybe I hit Control C too many times.
Okay.
There's one thing missing. What am I missing?
Unfollowing.
Well, that's missing. So let's not worry about that for now. This is missing. So remember, this is the home timeline, the home page. I made a slash. And I made it so if you click the name of the site, it goes to slash. That's pretty typical. So I go here and I'm seeing the most recent tweets. But you're not supposed to see the most recent tweets. You're supposed to see the tweets of the people you're following. So we need to implement that. So I have get tweets here. I need to make a new one. Get tweets for user. Or let's call it get home tweets. I don't know, whatever you would call it. Twitter calls it the home timeline. It's going to return a list of tweets, a slice of tweets. But now we have to get only the tweets that from the users I'm following. So how do we want to do that? Like this was getting me all the tweets.
And that one runs when you're not logged in, right? Whereas,
Yeah, maybe when you're not logged in, you see this one.
Yeah.
But when you are logged in, you see this one.
Yeah.
That's another hire 100 engineers question.
But don't worry about doing it fast. Just worry about doing it at all. How do we do it
So
at
you
all?
have to get all the people that are you're following first, and then you have to go get their tweets. And you
Yes.
have to sort them by time.
Yes. So let's do that. Get profile by. Oh right, we forgot to pass that in. So we get their profile, and now we have their followers. Sorry, the people they're following. And so now for each of those, we get the tweets for that username, which we have already, get user tweets. F. So that will give me the tweets for the person I'm following. And that gives me a slice of tweets, so let's have this, we'll call this user tweets. And we'll call this all tweets. Which is and at the end here we're going to return all tweets. And so the trivial way to do this would be to do all tweets equal append all tweets, user tweets. The issue with it, well, what's the issue with this?
They're not in chronological order.
Exactly. So that's not cool. Sorry, this should be dot dot dot. Yeah, you would get like all of one users and then all of the next user, and they should really be interleaved based on their time. So how can we do that? You can sort them. That's the way to do that. And sort is complicated. So I guess now is as good a time as any to talk about sorting. So to sort a list of tweets, I have to create another type. And
You have to have 3 things, right?
chronological sort, or let's call this,
Sort by time.
yeah. Tweets by time. And it's going to be a slice of tweet pointers. Okay? And then what I have to do is create 3 methods. I have to create, so we'll call this T. It's not actually a pointer. Len, which returns an int. That's easy. It has to return, I'm sorry, it has to define swap. So actually, I'll go show you what it. So there's len, and then less and swap. So swap takes I and j. It doesn't return anything. And the idea here is that I have a list of something, and swap is giving me the positions in the list. So this is actually really easy too. I just say t I t j equal t j t I. We did that in an example a long time ago. And then less, if we look at that, returns I and j and returns a bool. And that's saying, it's asking, is I less than j? And the way I do this is I return, if I wanted to know which was earlier, tweet A or tweet B, I would compare tweet A's time to tweet B's time. But because I want to have the ones that are the more recent on top, I'm going to reverse that. Okay?
I've got about after now.
Yeah. So, I is less than j if I is after j. Does everybody agree with that reason? Tweet I is less than tweet j if tweet I's time is after tweet j's. That means it would be earlier in the list. It's very easy to get these in reverse, so that's why you test it and say, oh, it is working the way I expected. Okay. So we created these 3 methods and put it on this type. And what that allows us to do is down here, we can say this sort.sort, which is in here, takes this interface. And so I just created a type that implemented that interface. And now I can say sort.sort and hand it that. And so I have to say time, why isn't it giving me the, oh, it's tweet by time. And hand it the all tweets. Okay. So that may look a little magical, but that will sort this list. Okay.
Go back to the less for the less function real quick. Return ti dot. How does it know which one is which return? Like how does it know which one is should be first or second through that return line? After is the method that returns bool.
Less is asking, is I less than j? If it is, return true. If it's not, return false.
So after says if it's after return true.
Yep.
If not return false. Okay.
Yep. Okay. So let's see.
Good question, Zach. That was awesome. I'm proud of you. That's a progeny boy right there. Show promise.
There's one other thing issue with this, but for now, I think this is making sense. Get the profile, for every single one, get their user tweets, add it to the list, so a big list of all these tweets, and then sort them. Everybody buy that?
I'm just blindly following. And I'm falling out of my chair.
So I just need to change this to, oh wait, this is the wrong page. I need to go to the index page and change get tweets here to get home tweets. Well, not quite. I need to see if I'm logged in.
And see if you have any followers.
Well, if you don't follow anybody, you get an empty list. That's cool. That's what you get if you go to Twitter and you're not following. So if you is nil, then you're not logged in. Let me just do this. Whoops. And if you is not nil, then we use the other one. So we say get home tweets. Okay. Now maybe we could move that logic into it needs the username. I'm going to change this to take email. Because I have it available. Now maybe we could move that logic into get home tweets. But for now, this is fine. Okay, so now my index page, if I'm not logged in, it does what it did before. And if I am logged in, it should show only the tweets from people I follow. So these down here should go away. They went away.
Caleb's boring.
Because it's only showing me example. Now if I tweet, it should show that too. Or someone I can use. And they are in the right order.
That is remarkable.
Okay. But there's an issue with this. What's the issue with this? Besides the obvious performance problem. If I'm following 100,000 people, I have just made 100,000 queries to the data store. That's not good. That would take forever.
Should limit.
A limit. I have now possibly, before I was getting 10 tweets, and now if I'm following 10 people, I've gotten 100 tweets. Right. So we can fix that really easily in here by just saying if length all tweets greater than 10, all tweets equal all tweets 10. Okay, so they only give me the first 10. But that's a minor thing. But the performance thing could be a bigger issue. Now, if in general only people are following small numbers of people, it doesn't matter. This is good enough. You know, making a dozen queries versus making one, not a big difference. Making 100 queries, that's a problem. That's probably too many. So, but this should work. Any questions about this? Now, did anybody else actually do this? Do this example?
You got the home page, we didn't get the unfollow or the see who you're following and unfollow.
Oh, okay. How did you guys implement it? The same way?
Basically, yeah.
Okay. So, like I said, there are trade-offs in the way we structure this data. And those trade-offs can be really challenging to fix. So, we can talk about that for a bit. In sort of more traditional web development, you use SQL.